Hello YouTube, welcome to what will probably be the last grading video for a little while, these seated Liberty dimes. I've sort of been putting this video off for a number of reasons. The first is that they're all very small and I have a bunch of them, and it's going to take a while to go through them all. Another reason is I don't have a really good pre-graded sample to compare to. I don't have anything slabbed. This was graded by a local coin shop whose grading I think is pretty trustworthy. They graded it F to VF, which is a pretty wide range. So the first thing, look it over, make sure there's no scratches, dings, dents, damage, anything that would cause a serious loss on the coin. And then assuming there's none of that, just about everything you need to see on these coins takes place right here. As long as the wear across the rest of the coin is reasonably even, everything you need to know is on the Liberty and the scroll. And so grading from good all the way up to XF, you start by asking, are the letters visible? Are at least 3 letters visible? Is full Liberty visible, even if parts of it are weak? Then is full Liberty strong? And then is full Liberty strong with a strong scroll edge? And so in this case you do have almost full strong Liberty, except the Y at the end is somewhat weak. So there is only one weak letter, but having a weak letter means it can't rightly be called a VF, so they graded it F to VF. I paid $20 for this coin. I probably paid a little more than I should have because I needed a good sample coin to compare other things to. If it is a VF, then 20 is probably a reasonably fair price. If it is closer to an F, which I think it is, then it's probably only worth about 15 or so. So I'm within about $5, and that's going to be a pretty common theme for this video. This next one, they graded it at VF, and then they have a little qualifier on their dark. And I had to ask them what that meant, but so there's this little dark toning splotch back behind Liberty's head. And then the back, this whole sort of 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock area is darkly toned. And it's toned so dark that you can't even see the details in the video. They are there when you look at the coin in real life. It's just really dark up in this area. So that's not technically a problem that would cost it any grading points, but it would potentially cost it some collectability, I guess. You can see there is a full strong Liberty there. And I kind of like the way seated Liberties tend to tone somewhat darkly. I can't say I like the splotch behind Liberty's head because I think that's just kind of odd looking, but the back I actually like, and again I apologize that you can't really make it out very well. So it is a VF with sort of an eye appeal qualifier. They had it labeled at 22. If it was a solid VF, it'd be worth about 22. They gave it to me for half price because of the dark toning. I'd happily call this a $15 to $18 coin, but some people probably wouldn't like the dark thing there, so they might not pay that. But for me, I feel like I'm got a deal here. So again, within about $5 of what I feel the coin is worth. Moving along to the next one. I graded this one as a VG8, and it's unfortunate because it should be a higher grade, I think, except that there's a scratch right here by Liberty's thumb that ends up obscuring the letter L, which means we don't have all letters visible. And so to get up to a fine, you do need to be able to see all letters. So unfortunately, even though the rest of Liberty is very good, because this scratch obscures a letter and part of the scroll edge, so it's a scratch in a very important place. And because of that, I rate the coin at very good. I'm maybe being a little bit harsh on it. The coin is probably at very good worth about $15, and I paid $16. So pretty close there. Again, off by a few dollars this time against me. Like I said, it's going to be going back and forth. This one would be a VF35, I think, except that it's probably been cleaned. You can see there's a full strong Liberty, And the scroll edge is not great, but it's okay. Except that the coin's probably been cleaned, and I say that, and I'm, again, not very good at spotting cleaning and knowing what to look for, but you've got these really dark areas right here between the letters and the rim, and I think that's probably what the whole coin would look like if it hadn't been cleaned. They just had trouble cleaning these parts when they cleaned it. So I paid about $20, I think, for this one. Uncleaned at a VF35, it would probably be worth $25 to $30. But cleaned, which again I think it is, I can't be sure because I really am not very good at spotting that. Cleaned, it's probably worth like $15 to $20. So I again didn't do great here, but a few bucks not in my favor. This next one, I'm almost certain has been cleaned, and I don't know if this is going to come through, but you can see the hairlines where it's been wiped with something. But I feel like it would be an XF. You can ignore that or F. It would be an XF if it hadn't been cleaned. You've got a full strong Liberty. You have well-defined scroll edges all the way across. And if it hadn't been cleaned, it would probably be an XF. I believe I paid, let's see here, this is an 87, I bought a few of the same dates, so I gotta make sure I'm keeping them all right. I paid $16 for this one, and I think it's probably worth about $15 to $18 or so. So pretty close. If it wasn't cleaned, it would be worth quite a bit more. It would be worth like $20 to $30. So it's just how much you plan to deduct for the cleaning. Next up is another 87. This one not in great shape. It's really worn down. That's okay. I got it pretty cheap. And it helped me cut down shipping costs. So I graded it a VG8. VG is kind of a wide range. But it does have 3 strong letters there at least, and almost full visible Liberty. It's missing a little bit on the end. So I think this feels like a pretty good example of what a VG should look like. And I paid $8 for this, and I think it's probably worth 10 to 12, conservatively. So a few bucks in my favor. This next one I rated good to very good. And you can see 3 letters. Not much to know about that one. 3 letters visible. This would probably be on the lower end of very good, would be my guess. And for this one, again, this one I didn't pay very much just to get the costs down. I paid $9 for this, and it's probably worth 10 or 11, maybe 12. So not too bad. Ahead a couple bucks. This one came already graded by somebody for me as VF, and I think they're right. You can see the full strong Liberty. And this kind of on displays well what I talked about when I said I like the way they tone kind of darkly. But there's a full strong Liberty, but the scroll edge, especially up by the thumb and where it meets the shield, is fairly weak. It kind of blends in with the shield pretty well. So VF is a pretty reasonable date for that one, or pretty reasonable grade for that one. I paid $15 for it, and I don't recall what it's worth, unfortunately. I want to say that's probably pretty close to what it's worth. It might be worth a little bit less, or a little bit more. But pretty common theme, either gain or lose a few bucks in value on each coin. So I'm reasonably happy with how I did on the dimes. There's some unfortunate markings on a few of them that are costing them grades. And that concludes my grading series. So there's a look at the dimes, all in a row. I hope people learn things. I am still a pretty amateur grader. My next thing to really work on is spotting cleanings, all the different kinds of cleanings, and figuring out what that costs a coin, because it's a really frustrating aspect of trying to grade coins, the cleaning issue, because so many old coins have been cleaned. I have gone through another box of halves, and it was sort of an odd box, so I thought I'd talk about it sort of here on its own. I found a lot of really good shape Kennedys. Like, here's an 89 that looks almost BU to me. Not silver, but like no scratching, not worn, just kind of odd to find one of those in such good shape. And then another odd thing, I didn't find any silver in the box, but I found 3 proofs. So like I said, kind of an odd box. I have 3 more boxes to go through, so those will feature in my next video. I have a ton of stuff from coin shops in my area to talk about, so I should have a pretty nice next video. I hope you enjoyed the grading series. I'm going to be taking a little break from it for a while, and focusing on the cleaning problem, the problem of cleaning. So have a nice weekend, everybody. This is, I think, the best one if it weren't cleaned. Or maybe one of these, so I'll end with a look at those. Alright, thanks for watching.